Hello friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin. Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday and we're thinking about, well, where will Bitcoin go in September? I know that this is pretty much what everyone is thinking. It's a new month, possibly. Will it go higher? What can we expect? Now, we need to remember that generally technical analysis is not 100%. Technical analysis pretty much gives you an idea of where you are in time, where you are in a trend. It also gives you, pretty much data as to whether price action is strong, whether it's weak, whether it's under moving averages or above moving averages. And so these are different techniques that we use to assess the health or the strength of price action, because really price action is really all that matters. I know that there is a macro consideration behind it, uh, basically the broader economic landscape, and that is very important, especially now when we're getting into more challenging times with, of course, the Fed increasing rates and the economy slowing down due to that, and the SEC trying to control inflation, which they should. They should. This is what they are meant to do. This is why we have a central bank, and for the purpose of smoothing out those economic uh, whipsaws, those economic outliers that are, heavily inflationary or, uh, you know, those events that heavily weigh on the economy. In the past, before a central bank, we had some serious issues where we had booms, busts, very volatile, and it was difficult. It wiped people out at certain times, and so this is what central banks do. They try to smooth out the cycle, the business cycles of the economy. That being said, that's not really what I'm getting into in this video. We're going to talk about price. We're going to talk a little bit about the historic returns for September. So let's get into it. Before we do that, we'll take a look at what we have going on here. Over to the right, taking a look, we have some that are, the market's pretty flat to negative, right? Um, Going to the banter bubbles, I like these. I think these are pretty cool. We see that XLM is pretty much the one that is standing out to us right now, over 6% increase, and KCS 3.2%. And of course, on the downside, we have Tomy 18% down, and we have Gala 13% down. So uh, there's actually another one that is not here that I think is interesting, that's important to highlight, although not immediately. I think it's more just a summer pump than anything. And that would be this one here. Let's take a look on my list here. That is going to be, let's take a look, Naka. Look at this. Naka up 20%. 20%. And I haven't had a chance to really look at this. Is, just today. This is new. I haven't had a chance to look into what's driving this. But we will take a look at that a little bit later. But when we do take a look at Naka, Naka has been part of the narrative of gaming for quite some time. So I'm not really surprised at this. You can see pretty much, whoops, let me get that off of the chart there. Let me change over here. There we go. So you can see that Naka pretty much has been over the past year doing pretty well, right? And you can see here we had a big pump here. This was during the summer, and so this was the narrative during the summer, and it's just coming off of that. Now, why would we be pumping so hard today? I have to take a look at the news a little bit later. I'll do a little bit of macro research, which that's not my thing, but I do that from time to time for my own uh, my own education, and also something, if there's something significant, I can share that with you. This here is coming off of the 200. So anytime you have price above the 200 or testing the 200 after a big move higher, this is bullish, right? This is a typical buy-in area. And so although this video is not about Naka, I can make one maybe later if you so choose. If you want to see a Naka analysis, go ahead and drop a comment below. But um, yeah, pretty much this is the reason, is because we have this 200 here. There may be some news driving this, but this is actually um, part of a bullish structure, and so that is an automatic buy for a lot of the bulls at the 200 right here. Boom, right here. And also from the high, you can see um, this Cryptonian suite that I have, this Cryptonian suite tool that's on the chart. It automatically charts the fibs, right? So from here to here is your range, and then this is the zero point 0.5 fib right here. 0.5 fib, and you can see it's going sideways, consolidating here. And so this is right here, there's convergence between the 0.5 fib, which is typically a bullish buy-in area, especially if it's strong, and the 200, which is a support area in a bullish trend. So like I said, since the summer, here's July, you can see, actually before that, right? Um, you can see May, June, July was the setup, and then we went into a big push higher for Naka. Okay, so they probably have some games that are coming out and people that are getting hyped, etc., etc. So that being said, that is one to watch going forward. Uh, but be careful because it's highly volatile. And in my opinion, that would be more, Naka's more of a long-term play for gaming. Okay, and so there you go. Again, but the banter bubbles showing that the large part of the market is either flat, less than 1%, down or up, and or it's negative, it's down, right? You can see SHIB here down almost 2.5%, Filecoin down 2%. Of course, we did mention the big one, SUI down 3.5, Ape almost down 5%. Ruin a big, when Bitcoin is slow or flat or consolidating, Ruin usually makes a move, but right now it's down almost 5%. This pretty much gives you the idea of the sentiment in the market. Sentiment in the market is pretty much negative, right? Negative. Um, that being said, wow, I just saw one. Okay, here, yeah, Gala. Okay, yeah, we mentioned that down 12%. We saw that on the bubbles, right? Banter bubbles. Okay, taking a look at Bitcoin here. This is not going to be a real long video. I just want to make this real quick. Where are we going to go in September? Well, let's take a look at where we are now. It looks like there could be some sideways consolidation happening. However, when you look at the um, moving averages here, we're under the 200. The 200 is here. Before we used the 200 as a springboard of support, just like what we saw with Naka, right? And we moved higher here, and then now coming right back down. So we're under the moving averages. We've been here before. If we're going to consolidate, we really need to find a bid. We need to find buyers that come in and then make another impulse higher. Now, we could find another impulse moving higher this week, but the question is, how strong would that be? How strong would that be? We have to have the majority of the market to show up and buy this for another test of 30,500. That would then turn this into something like a consolidation area, something like that, right? Which is very possible still because we have not broken that 24,900 line, the yellow line, yet. That being said, we did see a little pump here. I think that, that we discussed that in a previous video. That was news driven because Grayscale won, but the SEC is still pretty much looking to appeal the decision with XRP, so it's going to drag that out. And there's, the SEC still has postponed. They're not saying no, but they are postponing the Bitcoin ETF applications, and so not really sure when. I do believe that they will be approved. I believe it's just a matter of time. So I do believe that during this time, as prices are dropping, scaling in, DCAing a little bit here, a little bit there, might be a good strategy. Again, not investment advice. Do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. I just share with you my view of the market and what I've learned over the years and my experience in the market. That being said, taking a look at uh, the Cryptonian Suite volume mod with divergence, and we see that down here. This is also a new tool that I created, and it shows you that we did have a little bit of nibbling here, a little bit of buying here, and that's what we had here, the push higher, but then that sold right back down. So the critical area is 24,900. If we break this yellow line of support, then obviously we're going to go lower. And that's very possible here because we're under the volume node. We're under uh, this volume node that I have talked about in the past. And there may be a lot of people selling that purchased in that area if this goes much lower. And so if we break 24,900, we can see that then we rely on the next level lower. Okay, now there will be I think there will be some buying in on the way. Let's say, for example, if we come down here, move up, get rejected by the moving averages, roll over, and break that 24,900, then I believe it's gonna dump us right into the golden pocket. And I think 22.5, 22.6, 22 between 22 and 23 is probably going to be where a lot of buyers buy in. And then down here, if the selling pressure continues, then we could see a 20,000 Bitcoin. We could see a 20,000 Bitcoin and still remain bullish with the structure. Now you may think, well, how is that? Now I mean bullish in the local sense, not in the overall, long term sense, because we did come off of a big down trend, right? A bear trend. So this needs more time to establish a bullish structure. However, in light of the previous pump, okay, from the bottom, 16.7, 16.7 thousand, or 17,000, as some of you might want to pretty much judge that as the bottom, 17, or somewhere around there, we could hit a 20K, and that would still be a higher low, and that would still maintain this structure. Now, I've said in the past that we could actually go. Elliott theory states that if this is a wave one, which usually you get a wave one after the last cycle is over, right? So we just came out of a bear cycle. Um, the halving cycles have been pretty much dead on since the beginning. However, there's some discrepancy as to how much that will play into this coming cycle and next year, right? However, it is what it is until it's not, right? So I do think that there will be a lot of repeated behavior, which is going to be bullish for next year. Also, it is, like I said in the past videos, a election year, and usually election years do have some type of bullish element to them because the powers that be in the government, they're goosing the economy because they want to be reelected. And so that being said, Elliott wave theory states that you start the cycle over. You get an Elliott wave 1 at the beginning of the next new cycle. And we just completed a bear cycle. Unless we go much lower than 17, is it possible? Well, anything's possible. I just don't think that's going to happen, though. There's going to be too many people buying. Um, so, if this is wave one, we could actually come down to 20, which would bring us down in the general area of where we started before. That would qualify as a wave one, Elliott wave one. Now, Elliott wave theory says that many times it comes down close to, which would be 20K, or it comes down close to or equal to what it was at the beginning of uh, the wave, right? And so that could be as low as 17. Now, again, I'm very skeptical as to whether we will actually get that far or not because I just think there will be too many people buying that. Uh, when we break down and hit this golden pocket from 22, 23, there's going to be a lot of purchasers, a lot of buyers buying in, I think, and I'm going to be one of them. Although I will be cautious and I will be scaling in, but anything under this 24,900, when we start to dump below that, if we do, then I will be buying for long-term positions, right, for the next bull run. That being said, we did get a volume bearish divergence on the volume, and again, we're on the daily chart, friends. So this is going to be an area of struggle, I think. Um, Normally, what you see is, it's already peaked, as you can see. So, I think the best scenario for the bulls would be something like this, like a consolidation sideways, and then the best case for the bears is that we break down and we head lower down into these lower areas, 22, 23, possibly even 20, right? Now, taking a look at the Cryptonian volatility mod, um, we do see that our previous move impulse, I like to say impulse, right? Previous impulse to the downside is already over. And so now we're going into a lower volatility state. Now, does that mean that we can't go lower? No, we can still go lower. It just means that we'll probably go sideways and consolidate a little bit here. And if we don't have a significant pump to the upside, we'll probably roll over time because what's going to happen is if you go sideways here, if you consolidate sideways price action and your 200 moving average is right here, it's going to start coming down, start descending, putting pressure from above on the price. And then what you have is a lot of bears, they start shorting at the 200 when it starts reaching price, and then you get this, right? You get a lot of fear, especially if there are no big players pushing it higher. Now, in 3 days, we have the PMI, right, which is the Producers Managers Index, and which shows a little bit, just a hair of a decline. Previous was 52.7, projected forecast is 52.5. Now, if we have a significant deviation from that and we go much lower, then it's gonna spook the markets, and we're gonna go lower probably, right? And so, is that a real big concern? No, not really. It's expected because the Fed's been raising interest rates, and not a surprise, right? Not a surprise. And again, I've said this before that these summer months and then leading up into Q4, it's always slow. It's always slow. Now, let's take a look at what's significant here that I wanted to share with you is this. Here we have the returns, monthly returns for Bitcoin. Look at September. Look at September. This is since 2010. Look at September. It's this column here. Here we're in September now in 2023. This is at the bottom. This still has yet to be determined. But look at the previous months. Previous months. Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of 13 months, We have had 10 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 months red. 10 months red, right? And so, and as high as 11%, 13, 15 percent, and even back here, what is that? Let me, I'm getting older, so let me take a look. My screen's okay, 37%. 37% of a drop. That was in 2011. Now remember, that is because volatility, it was a very young asset, and at that time volatility was very high. And you can see the volatility, all of these red months in September and previous years, the volatility has gone down. And last year was only 3%. So, however, this does not sit well. This does not bode well or predict well for Bitcoin if you're statistically driven, right? Looking at statistics. But now look at after September. Now remember, you always want to buy, if you're buying, you want to buy the dips. You don't want to buy the pumps, right? You want to buy in when prices are low and you want to sell when prices are high. And so this would be the time, because looking historically speaking, now again, this is not investment advice. Historically speaking, you can see that after September, look at October. October of last year, green. Previous year, green. Last 4 years, green, right? And out of the last 8 years, there's only been one red, right? So then, statistically speaking, your chances and your opportunity for profit going into October, if you purchased the bottom or close to the bottom, or scaled in October, then you're looking at profits in October, right? Excuse me, September. If you scaled in at September, then when prices go higher in October, they start moving higher. If they do, then you're going to be in profit fairly quickly, and that's not even before the end of the year or Q1 of next year, when the bull run starts, in my opinion, starts to move. Uh, that being said, after that, we have September. Okay, September earlier was green. Lately has been more red than green. And of course, December has been more red than green lately in the past 5 years, right? Um, so this goes to show what I've been saying before, is that, look, don't expect any miracles before the end of the year, right? The big moves, I believe, the big trend moving higher, the bull run is going to be Q1 of next year, sometime Q1 of next year. Q1 is January, February, March, the first 3 months of the year. That's Q1. So I think during that time, you're going to see a lot more participants enter the market. I think by that time, we should probably have a Bitcoin ETF approved, and that will bring in massive amounts of buyers. And we're not talking small buyers. We're not talking retail. We're talking institutions and bringing in wealthy clients, etc. Right? So again, I don't want to make this too long, so I just wanted to put that out there for your consideration. Um, could we go lower? Yeah, we could go lower, but in my opinion, I think it would be a buying opportunity. Again, scaling in over time, in my opinion. And the sweet spot right here is the golden pocket, 22,600, 22,500 right here. And we're not really that far off of it, right? So that being said, what could happen is we could come down, break down into this golden pocket, grind this area out for a while until the 200 moving average, until that 200 moving average rolls over, comes back down, and then the price jumps above it and holds above it. And I've talked about that in previous videos. If you really want to know uh, how that works, well, we can just kind of take a look at here. This is where it jumps above it, holds it. Now we did break below it a little bit here, but that was very brief. And then we ran right back up, right? And then we did hold it here. So this is the kind of price action we're looking for, right? We're looking for the price to hold that 200, and that is if we don't go sideways where we're at now, right? The other option is we go sideways like this, right? Taking a look at the statistics real quick, 36 RSI, we're weak, and this is usually when prices go lower. We're weak. EMA, the EMA is bearish, and the DMA is bearish, right? So that being said, the chart shows that we're in contraction and we're in reversal, and we discussed that, right? We're in contraction. The line is yellow down here, so probably won't have any major moves. Probably will consolidate sideways a little bit. The more that we consolidate above 24,900, the more chances there are that we'll have another impulse, another try to the upside. And if it's strong enough, we could actually hit that 30,000 area, 30,500. That would be very, very bullish, by the way. Very bullish. Um, so that being said, we do see on the daily for Bitcoin a little bit of buying coming in now. Actually, that red diamond, well, it's still there. It's flashing on and off right now, depending on what's going on right now. So today is Sunday. We can expect maybe some buyers to come in today, this evening for the week. Watch Monday and Tuesday, and going into Wednesday with the PMI. That's going to be important to watch. And that being said, we just have to wait and see if we're going to break down below that 24,900, which I think it's probably a good chance that we will break down below that 24,900 into the golden pocket. It just makes sense with all the FUD out there, and the economic situation. The macroeconomics is weak. It's not good. And a lot of FUD out there in the news. And this is part of the cycle. It's not anything different. It's not anything, out of the ordinary, right? So anyway, probably will have a down month this month, a red month. We'll probably close out negative. How negative is the question? Is it going to be 3%? Is it going to be 5%? Is it going to be 10%, 12%? When you take a look at the price range, if we go down about 5%, you're looking at 20, right below that line there, which is 24,314, or excuse me, no, 24,300. And then if we do like 10%, that'll put us at 23,000, and that's right into that golden pocket area. So maybe another 10, 12%. Altcoins will then get destroyed, right? Because altcoins usually put in double or triple of the losses that Bitcoin puts in. So then that would be a time to go shopping once the market stabilizes and Bitcoin's not going lower. But there you have it, friends. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. And we will see you in the next video coming up. And please give the video a like, and please share the video if you would with your friends, if you think they would be interested in crypto, interested in this type of analysis. Anyway, I'm very, very bullish for the year coming up. Very excited. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and I think there's going to be a lot of money made, a lot of profits coming in. I think things will turn around after Q4 of this year, or maybe even start turning around in Q4 over the next few months. Right, getting closer to the beginning of the year. November, December usually sees better price action. Thank you, friends. See you next time.